Good evening. I'd like to welcome each of you to another edition of the Wright Experience. I'm Dr. William T. Wright Jr., the founder and host of this show. I am absolutely thrilled to have another opportunity to bring you the most amazing leaders that I can find throughout the country. As we embark on the end of 2022 into the beginning of the year 2023, I'm absolutely excited about the guests tonight and all the future guests that we have coming. I'm absolutely amazed at the fact that we continue to meet and engage with people that can come and bring us some awesome insight into leadership and how we all can grow and get better. We're fast approaching 2 years of doing this work, and I'm certainly excited about the future and what it'll bring. Tonight, I have a guest that is a fellow superintendent of mine in the state of South Carolina. He's doing some amazing work over in Calhoun County, South Carolina, and we're excited about bringing him with you tonight. My guest tonight is Dr. Ferlondo Tullock, who is the superintendent of Calhoun County Schools in South Carolina. Dr. Ferlondo J. Tullock is a native of Charleston, South Carolina, and he's the son of Mildred S. Tullock and the late Ferdinand L. Tullock. He attended the public schools of Charleston County, South Carolina. Upon graduating from Garrett High School, he began studies at what was then called Claflin College to study business. It was while he was at Claflin that Dr. Tullock realized that his calling was to assist students in maximizing their educational potential. That belief has stayed with him throughout his career in education. Dr. Tullock holds a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education from Claflin College, a Master of Education degree in School Administration and Supervision from the Citadel, and an Education Specialist degree and an Education Doctorate degree in Education and Administration and Supervision from South Carolina State University. Dr. Tullock has worked in public education for 29 years, having served as a middle school language arts and reading teacher, an assistant principal, an elementary principal, a director of curriculum, a director of special education and student services, a deputy superintendent, and he's also served in Charleston County, South Carolina, Lawrence District 55 in South Carolina, Saluda County in South Carolina, and now in the Calhoun County School District in South Carolina. He has held educational supervisory roles for more than 25 years of his career. Dr. Tullock is a member of the South Carolina Association of School Administrators, Student Services, Special Education, and Superintendents Roundtables. He is also a member of the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. Dr. Tullock is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, one of his better qualities. He is a member of Delta Zeta Lambda chapter in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Civically, he serves as a board member and the secretary of the Calhoun County Department of Disabilities and Special Needs. He's a member of the Sandy Run Ruritans and is the past chairman for the Political Action Committee of the Calhoun County branch of the NAACP. Dr. Tullock is married to Ferlondo Tullock of Orangeburg, South Carolina, who is a teacher with the Calhoun County Public Schools. They are also the proud parents of Elon, a student at North Carolina A&T University, Ethan, a student at South Carolina State University, and Alexis, who is a high school counselor in Lakeland, Florida. Dr. Tullock enjoys spending time attending sporting events and concerts, traveling and helping in the community and schools. Dr. Tullock believes that every student can learn, and we as educators must find that vehicle to drive our students to their potential. And at this time, I'd like to present to the right and welcome to the Wright Experience, Dr. Ferlondo Tullock. Good evening, my brother. How you doing?
Good evening, friend. How are you?
All right. It's a pleasure to have you here and certainly looking forward to engaging in some conversation with you tonight. Certainly proud of the leadership that you have embarked upon in Calhoun County, and there's some amazing things going on there. So just start us off by talking to us about your district, the Calhoun County Schools, and some of the wonderful things that you have going on there currently.
Certainly, Brother Wright. I have to say thank you for having me this evening. It's always a pleasure to be under the sound of your voice, my friend. I have a lot of admiration for you and the work that you do. So, again, thank you for having me this evening. I am
Thank
proud
you.
to say that I am the superintendent here at Calhoun County. We are a smaller district, one of the smallest in the state. However, the work is still the work. We've
That's
got
right.
about 1,600 students, nearly 350 staff across the district. We are embarking on some very challenging times right now. As I tell people, we're a dying district because our numbers are starting to decline because there's so many different options for parents outside of the district in surrounding areas, charter schools, private schools certainly, as well as certainly online learning has now become a new facet for families to engage in. But we still have the work to do serving the young people that are here with us. Again, we've got about 1,600 students in K through 12th grades. We have a Montessori program in both of our K through 8 schools that's thriving. We start seeing young people as early as the age of 3 years old.
Mhm.
So when you're potty trained and can make it here, we certainly accept you. On the elementary level, we are seeing our young people engage in our honors academy. We have young people that are in the seventh and eighth grades that are starting their work towards an associate's degree here at Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College. And through the high school ranks, certainly our young people are going over to the Technology Center, getting a hands-on instruction in terms of careers that once they leave us, they can embark upon jobs. Certainly, everyone's not going to go to college or the military, but we're trying to prepare young people outside of those two realms as well, those who are ready to go to work. We also have young people that will leave us with sometimes they graduate before from college before graduating from high school. So we have young people that walk across our high school stage that already obtained a associate's degree. So we're proud of the work that our young people are doing. Are we where we want to be? Certainly we're not. That's why we come here every day and we try to get another chance to do it all over again. And thank the Lord for those chances. Try to make the best of every opportunity that we can to have young people with us and doing the work that's necessary to help not only build their lives and enrich their lives, but also the lives of this community and those young people's families.
And sounds like you got a variety of options for your students to participate in to prepare for that next level, which is still the best game in town, in my opinion, is traditional public school education, simply because we can provide more variety. So certainly understand and wish you the best in that work moving forward.
Thank you.
So how many schools, Dr. Tullock?
We have, as I like to call, we've got three roofs in the bill across the district.
Okay.
We've
Okay.
got one traditional high school, grades 9 through 12, and then
Okay.
we've got two kindergarten through eighth grade schools, so an elementary school and a middle school in one building. Again, I call it three roofs. Basically, you can say five schools if you want,
Okay.
but again, we serve young people on three different campuses.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And geographically, talk a little bit about where Calhoun is in the state.
Well, I'm glad you asked, man. We are centered just south of Columbia.
Okay.
We're east, excuse me, of Orangeburg in I-26. I-26 runs right along the county, and we go from Richland, Lexington counties as north as far south down to the lakes, Orangeburg County and the Santee Lake. So we cover a lot of area geographically, but a lot of our area is farmland.
Sure.
So our young people are centered primarily in the northern part of the district, which is close to Columbia. Those, again, families that use Columbia for shopping, entertainment, as well as employment. And then to the south, we've got those young people whose families are near the lakes. But geographically, most of our young people are centered right here in the St. Matthews area.
Okay. All right. Very good.
But again, we struggle Brother Wright, with the numbers because we're so, and I like to say landlocked because a lot of our land is used for agriculture. And again, that's a huge business for us in this community. And we don't have a lot of residential growth. So that kind of hinders our growth in terms of the district. So our numbers in terms of student population are dwindling. But again, we're a fairly large county. but our population is relatively small because a lot of land is for agriculture.
Right. And that's some of the challenges of being in what is classified as a rural district. And then in the state of South Carolina, if you live closer to a school in another district or another county, you can kind of petition to go attend that school without much challenge. So certainly understand those challenges from my days in McCormick County for sure.
Yeah,
So Dr. Tullock, let's talk a little bit about the future of education. You know, we just got through a pandemic, if you want to say that. In some places, I think we might be still in the middle of it. But even if we are at the back end of it, let's say, what are some things that you've learned out of that work, out of going through the pandemic, that you think are necessary to inform the future for us?
Well, I really believe that we're still in the midst of the pandemic.
Sure.
We're sending young people home as well as staff home on a regular basis. The numbers aren't as high as they were during the height of the pandemic, a year and a half ago, a year ago. But we certainly still see those challenges that the pandemic has brought on. For us, it's we're just like anybody else. We've seen that instruction for young people has really taken a hit in terms of not having them in the classroom with us. Again, I'm 29, almost 30 years in this business, and another 18 years, 20 years almost as a student in schools. And I still feel that the best thing is a teacher in front of students, a live body in front of young people. And
right.
we're doing our very best to maximize the times that we have with young people in the classroom. What we've done is look at our actually daily schedule to try to maximize time. There's a lot of time in the educational schedules that there's a lot of fluff. And what we're trying to do is just minimize that fluff time to put as much time back into the classroom with young people, with a teacher in front of them. We've adjusted where we've got tutorial sessions going on throughout the school day. Again, because we're rural, it's very difficult for young people to stay after school and have that transportation to get back home. So we try to provide those after-school tutorial programs throughout the school day so that, again, young people are getting exactly what they need while they're here with us. For those who do have the luxury of having the transportation home, we still have after-school tutorial programs, as well as we've instituted some morning before-school tutorials as well. So we've got a really dedicated staff of teachers and administrators here with us, and they do a number of things just to meet the needs of young people in the buildings with us. Again, as I say, it's probably become cliches when people talk about Ferlondo Tullock, but I call this thing a ministry. We just can't expect us to do the work from 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock dismissal time. Work happens way before we start school, and it goes on way after the bells has rung to send young people home and the buses have stopped rolling. So there's a lot that we've learned, again, and it's maximizing the times that we do have in front of our young people. Another thing that I'm really proud of that our district has, not just in the district, but our community, we've taken a really, really close look at the academic calendar. We built 2 calendars this past year that were voted on by the community. As a new superintendent, I've tried to just grasp people to bring them in so that they will feel welcomed and feel that they have a stake and a say in what we're doing. I've formed several different committees and organizations within the schools that come talk directly to me. We've got our Teacher Advisory Council, and I'm certainly proud of our Student Advisory Council. Those young people, they come over and they tell me exactly how they feel, exactly what they want, what they think should happen, because they're the learners and they know what helps them learn best. So we've discussed what happens, with the calendar, and they've looked at it and said, well, no, we need more time here. Why are we getting out of school at this point? Let us stay in school here, and then we can look at being out at another time. So we've we've blended what kids want, what the community wants, as well as what our educators want, and put that all into a modified calendar. We built what we call that traditional calendar that starts the 3rd Monday of August, and it just runs the 180 days of your traditional breaks. So we had our community to vote on those calendars, and we'll present those two along with the tally votes on Monday at our board meeting. So the board can decide, hey, we've allowed everybody to have their say, and let's go with the votes that have come from this calendar. But I'm certainly proud of the work that our faculty has done, our students have done, and then there's a community group that I meet with as well, and they've come in and they've talked and said what needs to happen. And like I said, we've blended everybody's wants and needs to come up with what we call what we think would be our best calendar options. And again, we've got several programs that go throughout the school day that help young people in meeting their needs. Certainly, since the pandemic has come about, we've seen an increase on the need for mental health programs.
Sure.
And we've got mental health programs, again, before, during, and after school for young people. We've got mental health counselors that come into us from the Department of Mental Health here in the county that instead of us having young people to leave us to get in a car and to be signed out to get in the car and go across town with mom, and they may not come back after that appointment. We have the DSS, mental health counselors come to us. So the young person comes out of class for a couple of minutes, they see their counselor, and then they're back down the hall as opposed to having to travel to or from an doctor's appointment. And again, all of these things are just so that we were able to accomplish what needs to be done in the classroom. And the pandemic, again, certainly has exposed a lot of what we need to do in terms of helping young people academically. But certainly the mental health piece is huge, and you can't do anything until you overcome that. I'm proud to see that our Student Services Department just this week completed the work for what some would call cool down rooms across our schools. And they allow young people, along with a trained adult, to go into those rooms and take a break, just to cool out, to chill, get themselves back together, and then go on back into the classroom. So those things, again, help our young people as opposed to being suspended from school or sent home from school. We give them an outlet at the school so that they can, release that energy, that frustration, and then get back into the classroom and go back to work.
So it sounds like you guys are really intentionally attentive to your stakeholders, which is so key. In good leadership, we always have to adjust to the needs of our stakeholders, which are ever changing. Post-pandemic, we've learned that.
That certainly is true. And, we've talked a lot about what we do for kids, and we certainly have to talk about those who are on the front lines. And we offer mental health counseling for our staff as well. So our staff have an opportunity to sign up for weekly sessions with a trained mental health professional so that they too can get that help. I always look at our work as that of like a stewardess on the airlines. We can't take care of anybody until we take care of ourselves.
There you go.
So, you can't put that mask on somebody else, and when the plane's going down, I think that you're going to survive too. So we give our teachers an opportunity for them to get the help that they need, refresh themselves, and then be able to go back into that classroom and provide the best instruction possible for young people.
So is your district battling any challenges right now with recruitment and retention of employees? And if so, what are some things you all are doing to combat that?
I smile because we are, but it's like I said earlier, the work is the work, no matter how big or small you are.
That's right.
And the challenges are still the challenges. Our challenges are just like those of a large district. I may not have 200 openings to fill, but best believe those 3 or 4 that we've got, they're hard to fill. Sure. Being close to Columbia and young people, and I say young people period, wanting to be in the center where there are the amenities, movie theaters, shopping, entertainment, dinner, that makes it really difficult for us to attract folks. But we've been blessed that we offer a family-friendly kind of atmosphere here. I try to make it a point to, to know the staff. I'd like for them to know me. I like for the kids to know me. Because when the phone rings in the afternoons and mom talks about something that's going on, I need to have some inkling as to who this young person is, because if I don't, that's going to even add to the problem too. You don't even know who my child is. But we've done a lot in terms of recruiting our folks. We do have a large number of foreign teachers that come to us, but we've been very selective in who we get, foreign or domestic teachers, and trying to get the very best that we possibly can. We do a number of things in terms of attendance. We provide several attendance incentives for those who come to work every day throughout the semester. We incentivize them monetarily. There are those that, we don't spend a whole lot of money because, again, we don't have a whole lot of kids. So there sometimes is money that's left over from the previous year's budget where we can, again, give that back to the staff. So there again, monetary incentives that go to staff. We're working along with Voorhees where they allow us to monetarily to get signing bonuses to young people that are coming to us. There's also a whole lot of staff development that occurs. But again, I think what helps us is just being family friendly to people to make them feel welcome to be a part of this district. Again, my door is always open. Folks see me in the buildings. I try my very best to not spend a whole lot of time in the office, but to be at everybody's disposal in the buildings. So I travel through and just try to walk through. If anybody's got a question or concern, feel free to stop me. I know we've gotten, as I look up on my wall, there is the organizational chart, and I'm the world's worst. I get all off that chart. I'll listen to anybody and I'll entertain anybody, and I'll try to fix their problem. And I guess that's just our nature as educators and wanting to help people.
Right.
But I just would try to use that as one perk to help people understand that, yes, the door is open. We will entertain you. But there's one thing I mentioned, the monetary incentives, and I have to say that those are short-term fixes.
Sure.
They don't last very long. Everybody will be excited and everybody will be happy and pat me on the back when they receive that direct deposit or whatever amount we're going to send. But I would like to see us be able to sustain somebody economically, financially. That one-time shot in the arm of a bonus, it's good. You do what you can for your people, but personally, I would like to see us be able, and not just us, across the education spectrum, be able to adequately fund folks financially in terms of what their worth is as an educator. We're the gatekeepers to prosperity, and
Right.
we educate a lot of people to become doctors and lawyers and like engineers and such. And they make a whole lot more money than teachers do. And I think it's high time that we look at what we're doing as a state, as a nation, in terms of funding education and adequately incentivizing our staff for the work that they do.
Yeah. And we've got to have all of the above. Just a couple nights ago, I think it was, I was coming down I-95 and stopped at Buc-ee's, as I do from time to time. And they've got this sign that they've updated now that lists all of their salaries. And we're competing right now with cashiers at Buc-ee's in terms of salary with first year teachers. And so something's got to be done about that. I'm not hating on Buc-ee's at all, but certainly we need to get serious about investing in educators. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing that with our audience, as well as all of the other things, because in this day and time, as you said, the work that we do is a gateway to the future, and we certainly need to take care of those that are doing that work, be they what I call direct educators or indirect educators. So the people that are supporting the teachers in the classroom also need to be able to have, as you described, a living wage to be able to survive. Let's talk a little bit, switch gears just a little bit, or maybe it's not so much switching gears, but as the future holds itself, public schools are undergoing changes. There are more options, which we don't fight with. People have more options in which to have schooling for their young folks. But what do you see as the future, some of the highlights for the future of public schools as they exist now?
Well, I think for us, we've got to do a tremendous job, and I say tremendous job, the brick and mortar schools in terms of attracting and maintaining the populations that come to us. Right. We've got to do everything, and I say everything, that those young people desire in terms of a schooling, in terms of the educational experience. We've got to do what's necessary to make young people feel comfortable in terms of their road to successes. If we can't keep doing the same thing that we've been doing the last 40, 50 years and expect to attract and keep young people with us, the same things that we did with their parents and certainly with us as well. The job markets have changed. The jobs that you and I probably aspired to as young people in high school, those jobs no longer exist. And young people who graduated probably 10 years ago, the jobs that they were aspiring to have don't exist anymore. So what a young person in first, second grade, what kinds of jobs they will be working, only the future can tell. But our job is to prepare those young people for it. So I think, again, we've got to be doing all that we can to educate young people and preparing them for what the future world is going to be. And a part of that is being able to decipher through all of the rhetoric what that world is going to look like for that young person. And not only tell them about it, talk about that world, but also show them what's out there for them. That, we always say young people, we want them to be successful, but what does success look like? We want them to prosper. We want them to have prosperity. What does prosperity look like? For a lot of our young people, they don't know what that looks like. So we've got to show them and prepare them, get them on the roads for prosperity and, being able to be someone that contributes to society. They see us as educators and they see us all day, every day. And, we've got to use our power, our leverage with them to show them, hey, you can do this. You can become this. And, those same people that, had that foresight poured into me, I feel, again, it's my responsibility to pour into young people, to have that foresight first, and then to be able to pour that into young people as well so that they can attain, again, a level of prosperity, earning a living wage. But again, I think public education, we've got to do some revamping in terms of what we're doing right now to keep up with the times. So we're playing checkers and the world's playing chess. Yeah. We've got to keep moving. We've got to be prepared for the next step that's not necessarily coming, but the step 2 or 3 down the road that's going to be coming. So we've got to have our young people ready for that. If we don't, our world's not going to be able to sustain itself. We haven't done our jobs as educators.
And that's on us as leaders. I mean, that's on us as leaders to make sure that we're continuing to push that envelope. And then, as you're alluding to, we've got to be flexible enough to understand that the game is changing, that the expectations of industry and business and universities and global markets and so forth is ever changing. And we've got to continue to tweak what we're doing in the buildings and now through virtual learning to make sure that we're meeting the needs of students. I think that's amazing insight.
Yeah, we've got to, I mean, cut you off. I'm sorry. We've got to change the way that we've been doing business. And right. The way we've done business over the last, like I said, 40, 50 years has certainly changed because the world has changed around us. So we've got to stay 2, 3 steps ahead of what the world's going to be bringing so that we'll have our kids ready for the world.
That's right. Dr. Tullock, let's talk a little bit about this. Let's pretend that for a moment you have the opportunity, as I know you do all the time. It's just the nature of what we do as leaders. But you have the opportunity to encourage, mentor, prepare a person at the beginning of their career to be a superintendent in a 1,600 student district at some point. What are some things that you've learned that you would be willing to share as advice to those folks?
Well, how much time do we have? Let me tell you, it's a blessing for me to be able to sit in this seat. And I'll be honest with you, leadership has not been one thing that I've really taken a look at and said, "Oh, I want to be a leader." Right. I think it's something that's innate. It's something that's within you. Okay. For a new leader, I would tell that person, find people who, and it's cliche-ish, I would guess, but it's find people who are a person who you want to be like, who you see as being successful, and attach yourself to those people. Certainly, as you alluded, I've got 29 years in this thing. Brother Wright, I tell you, whenever I see you, I'm trying to get close to you to hear what you got to talk about. I'm listening to your conversations. So it's always finding people who are doing the right things, who are taking people to higher heights, and you attach yourself to those things, those people, and those things that they're talking about. I've learned personally in this business, you better bring some thick skin with you. And I tell people all the time, if people ain't talking about you, excuse my English, if they ain't talking about you, you got a problem. If they are talking about you, you all right.
That's right.
Because if you're not doing your job, people are going to talk about you. They're going to let you know. But if everybody's quiet, you better be paying attention. What's going on? What's happening? Am I doing something right?
Something's not quite right. Yeah,
something ain't quite right. But if they're talking about you, you're doing your job, because you're not going to make everybody happy. And as I tell my folks, everybody on my staff will be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. I promise you. But I can also promise they ain't going to be at the same time. They're not going to be happy at the same time. That's the God.
I like that one. Okay.
But I do have to say that in talking with some other superintendent friends, that I've learned that you've got to have stamina. You've got to be able to know that you're going to be in for the long haul. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and it's not just that you're going to run a quick sprint and the work is all done. No, you've got several little sprints within this marathon that you accomplish, and once you accomplish one, you can exhale, but not too long, because the next one's right over the hill. So I'd say being able to have stamina, but also, and it's probably something that people don't think about, take care of yourself. I've learned from others, you've got to take care of yourself, because if you don't, you fall dead, you get ill, hey, the next guy's waiting on your job. And you've got to be ready to take care of yourself to be able to take care of others. Again, the things that I've learned over the past 30 years almost in this business, attach yourself to good people and listen more than you talk. I like to listen and I like to watch. And I get talked about, I don't say a whole lot. That's because I'm absorbing. I'm listening to what's happening. And, I feel as though I can take more from the conversation. I can give to it, but I want to take from, so I can come back and give my people what I've learned in those conversations. So again, just listen more than you talk, have stamina, have some thick skin, because every day is not going to be sunny, and relish those moments that are sunny, because those are the ones that sustain you. When you have a good things are good and things are going well, bask in that moment. But again, don't lay there in the grass too long, because the sun's going to go down and the moon's coming up. So trust me, you've got to be able to have some balance there professionally, but also you got to have some balance in your life too. I'm still in my office, and that probably is a bad thing. You're like a minister in this business, and people are always calling on you. They want time with you. They want to see you. They want to be around you. They want you at their event, whether you say something or not. They just want you to be a part of. And I've learned that you can't go to everything. You try, but you can't make everything. So that you've got to have good people around you. So having good eyes to be able to see what other people are doing and being able to decipher what their work is really about. Because everybody can work, everybody can look busy, but you need to be able to see who's true about the work and surround yourself with those people, so that when you can't be there to do the work, that they can do it for you.
And all of that is really, you mentioned stamina earlier. A lot of what you said is probably summed up in mental and physical stamina, not just the physical stamina, but you also got to have the mental stamina to be able to do that work and discern. And yeah, absolutely. We might need to get you to write a book one day. So that's some good stuff there for sure.
Thank you.
If you'll hold on with me for just a minute, we'll come back and close out the show.
Sure. Thank you.
My guest next week on the Wright Experience will be Mrs. Dana Anthony Swain. She serves as a school leader manager fellow for KIPP schools in Austin, Texas. We have the pleasure of having her on the show next week to talk to her about some of the wonderful things that are going on in her district. Her role is primarily, she serves as a principal leader after serving many years in the state of Texas as a principal herself. She has now been promoted to that role. So we're looking forward to having her next week, 7:00 p.m. on the Wright Experience. That date is December 15th of 2022. And we're looking forward to that show as well. Dr. Tullock, my brother, thank you very much for being here and imparting your insight and wisdom. I too do admire your leadership and your work, and
Thank you.
Your disposition. It's been my pleasure to get to learn you and know you, and I look forward to continuing to see and learn from the wonderful things that are going on under your leadership in Calhoun County Schools. They're certainly fortunate to have you as their leader.
Thank you.
And to the Wright Experience audience, I want to thank you for viewing and being a part of this work that we're doing. Good evening.